high country through the aspens to get you ready for fall. I have been looking forward to this for basically summer. I am not much of a summer guy. Those early mornings and the heat, yeah, I'm not about that. I'm kind of a night owl. So very glad that the temperatures are starting to drop and that the days are starting to get a bit shorter and that the colors are starting to change, because fall, winter, spring, those are like a photographer's paradise. Summer is very much a dead season for us, at least in the landscape world. So anyway, we are up here. We are in the Kenosha Pass area, and we are just doing a little bit of a recce, just trying to come up with some ideas for future shots to come back to once the fall color gets a lot better. We're starting to see some changes here. Some of these little aspens are getting some yellows on them, and some of the big guys as well. And we're starting to see patches in the aspen and birch trees in and amongst the pine trees. So it's still a bit too early, I think. I was talking with a guy who he was coming down the trail as I was going up the trail, and we're both kind of thinking that in about 2 weeks, the fall colors in this area are going to be spectacular. I'm sure farther north in Colorado, they're starting to hit their strides, starting to hit their peak. It's kind of how it goes. It starts northern Colorado, goes all the way down south, kind of like in a wave. So this area needs a couple more weeks, I think. And it will be gorgeous. So, like I said, just out here today trying to get some ideas. I found a couple of shots that I'm really, really happy with. So I'm very much looking forward to coming back out when the color is at its peak and recapturing some of these shots and maybe finding some others as well. So today I've just been focusing on sort of more compressed, longer lens compositions. I've been shooting with either the 150 to 600 or my 70 to 200. And I've really just been gravitating towards those longer depth of field shots, longer focal lengths for shooting lately. I find them a bit more challenging, a bit more rewarding when I come up with something that's nice. I think compositionally it works better than maybe just a standard focal length at least for shooting in the woodlands. Walking through these aspen groves here. Aspens, they grow like weeds, and they sprout up all over the place, and it becomes very dense, very packed in. So it's very hard to find a good composition in and amongst aspen when they're just like that. So you really got to think creatively. Use those longer focal lengths and use your imagination. So I think today found a couple of those. I'm curious to see what they'll be once I get them back into the computer. Obviously by now, at the time of me recording this bit, you'll have already seen them. So fingers crossed that these images turn out good. Also coming up here today, we got kind of lucky, got a little bit of wildlife photography in. I was coming up Highway 24 just before hitting Florissant, and I was looking out in the field, and I saw a coyote out there. And I just did a quick turnaround, found a place to park, really quickly snapped off a few shots of him. Just really quick handheld. They weren't the sharpest shots. Managed to grab a few images of it before it kind of went down into this little creek and I lost sight of it. Got a little bit of video of it too. So that was really fun, really rewarding. So that was worth the delay in getting up here. So I'm trying to decide what else I want to do with the rest of the day. It is just past 3 o'clock. I think we're coming up on 3:30 here. Trying to decide if I want to hike further up the trail here or if I want to head back down and kind of go on the west side of the trail where the parking area is. It kind of splits the trail in half. So, and there's also an overlook near a little lake that I kind of want to check out as well. So pack up here, flip a coin, decide which way I'm going to go. And yeah, well, I've got you guys here though. I want to talk about my 2020 calendar, which is now available for purchase on my website. I'm really excited about this. It's a collection of what I think are my best images over the last 2.5 years. I've put a lot of effort into curating those images, trying to figure out which ones I like the most. And So after putting in a lot of work trying to figure out which images I think are the best representation of my portfolio, and I've narrowed it down to what I think are the best 12. And yeah, that is up on my website and available for purchase. I had a pre-order period for folks, which was still in the pre-order period. September 27th was my cutoff date for pre-orders. That all being said, I really haven't gotten much of a pre-order. I've gotten maybe 11 in, and that was mostly my mom ordering those photos, those calendars, I should say. So yeah, the pre-order period will go through September 27th, and then from there, it's just going to be a regular order. And this is my first time doing a big calendar order for folks, so I will just get them as you order them. I will put in the order to the lab, have them printed and shipped out to you guys. So it would mean a lot to me if you guys would purchase one of these. Calendars are, they're a yearly project. It's something that you're always thinking, what images are going to work best. It's hard to pick 12 images out of a year when, you may get, a lot more than that during any calendar year. So guys, it would mean a lot to me if y'all would go and order one of those off of my website. I promise you guys will not be disappointed. At least I hope you guys will not be disappointed. All right, that's enough of that sales pitch there. I'm gonna pack up here and head on back down the trail. We got some bikers coming up, so I need to get this camera out of the trail. So running into those bikers there, brought up a little point that I forgot to mention in my last little bit to camera, and it's that I have been shooting everything kind of handheld today. I know that landscape photography, traditionally you want to shoot off the tripod, which I do most of the time, but just today I've just been wanting to kind of stay mobile, stay kind of loose, and just flex my creative muscles a little bit. So I've had a lot of people passing me on the trail, which is another reason why I've been staying off the tripod, because the tripod definitely takes up space on the trail. So I've just been going handheld, taking a little bit of a risk today, but you know what? Still managed to come away with some images that I think, even shot handheld, are pretty darn good. Sweetheart right there. She was a little nervous of the camera at first, but then she kind of just warmed up. So makes me jealous. I really want a dog. Anyway, back to photography. You guys remember how I was talking about today was kind of one of those days where I really wasn't worried about the whole need to be on a tripod rule. Well, this shot that I've got lined up across the valley is one of those times where you really, really need to be on a tripod. Let me talk you through what I'm seeing right now. We've got this one tree which is clearly ahead of all the other. I don't know if it's an aspen or a birch, but it's clearly ahead of everybody else, all its other little tree friends out there, because it's got just yellow and orange and red leaves on top of it, and it's just surrounded by this sea of green. And I just couldn't help but stop and set up the tripod and get some photos of this. You know, being the fact that it's all the way across the valley, I'm using my 150 to 600 millimeter out at just past 450, probably 475 mil, shooting straight across the valley. That's not a shot that I want to handhold. I would just not get sharp results shooting that handheld. And oh, those bikers are coming back. Like I said, guys, it's the other reason I didn't want to use a tripod is because we've got people coming up and down the trail here. So I'll try to make this quick. I've been shooting this shot several different ways, trying 16:9 framing, trying a 1:1 framing, and of course I have to fall back on my vertical framing. And I think I've got a photo with the vertical frame that's working really well. It looks pretty good as a 3:2 ratio. I will probably also make a crop of a 4:5 ratio, but I'm really just enjoying this. I shot it at, see here. I shot it at ISO 100, 1/125th of a second, and I shot it at an aperture of f6.3, the minimum or the maximum aperture. I know that gets confusing. Anyway, the widest I can open up my aperture at this focal range, and that's because I'm not worried about any there's no foreground element. I'm shooting straight across the valley here, so f6.3, try to get as much sharpness as I can in the image, and I'm just really enjoying this. This is, it's always those little kind of unique shots that you're hoping to get when you're out shooting. So I'm really happy with this one. I'm just gonna pack this up here, let these bikers get down the trail, although it does look like they're taking a break. And we're getting close to 5:30, or not 5:30, getting close to 5 o'clock. It's 4:35 right now. So we'll get back down the trail, do a little bit more walking around, see what else we can see for the rest of the day. But nice little shot to get here. Makes me hopeful for what else we can expect once fall comes around in full circle, in full force. Kind of cool and very, very strange. I mean, I guess it makes sense that there would be an old train route up here. Probably the only way you could get people and freight through the mountains here back in the old days, but feels so very out of place. But I'm a history buff, and I love trains, so this is one of the coolest things I've probably seen up here. Okay, so I've come down to this viewing deck that overlooks this this wetland area. I don't know if this exact pond has an exact name, but sorry, I thought I saw something back there. But it's really beautiful. There's lots of little ducks in the swimming around, and I've seen a couple of like landscape images that I've visualized that we may or may not capture today. They're going to be very light dependent. We've got a lot of cloud up here. So I really don't know how that's going to go for sunset. But in the meantime, we've got all these ducks in the water here. And so I figured I'd just take a little bit of time and play around and just get some photos of them. And we might, I'm not going to promise anything. I have heard that there might be a moose that likes to hang around and come down and eat and drink at this pond. I have seen signs that say moose are in the area, so we might get lucky with that, but I'm not going to promise you guys anything because I've never been to this spot, so I don't know when or if a moose would show up. So in the meantime, we're just going to have a little play around. There's some nice reflections in this pond as well, but they're really broken up by some ripples out in the pond itself. So don't know what kind of images we're going to get out of this, but that's the whole point of photography. Just come out and have fun, right? Also, sorry for the road noise. We're right next to the highway that goes through Kenosha Pass. Really struggling to capture a shot of these ducks as they're doing their dive into the water. They're just so much quicker than my reaction time. I want to get it. I want to get that shot. I just don't know if I can get that shot. I really wish I had like a pre-buffer sort of function on this camera. Canon, if you're listening, I know there's rumors going around that you're developing a mirrorless version of the 1DX line of cameras. Please, please, please put a pre-buffer setting in there. I don't care if it crops the image. That would actually be helpful for wildlife photography. Or put that function in a mirrorless version of this camera, because a mirrorless version of a 1DX is probably going to be a $6,000 camera. That's not in the price range. Okay guys, so I'm just going to admit it, my reaction time is just not fast enough to get a shot of those ducks as their head is going in the water. Nearly filled up my media card trying to get that shot, but a little bit of a consolation prize. I think I got a shot. I'm not sure if it's a muskrat or a beaver. I haven't seen any sign of a beaver dam in this pond. So I think it's the muskrat that I saw earlier, but I got a shot of it with its head, which is on the water, just with its head hovering above. And then I didn't really get a good shot of it diving down, but I got a shot of it as it's just hanging on top of the water. So that's pretty cool. I just randomly saw it. You can't get much luckier than that, I think. Yeah, I just don't think I have the reaction time necessary to get those ducks as they've got their heads going in the water. Really could use, like I said, a pre-buffer sort of thing, so where you're half pressing the shutter, like they have on the Olympus cameras, where you're half pressing the shutter and it's buffering as you track the shot, and then when you actually fire the shutter, you can go back a certain number of frames to actually get the shot. That would be nice. It's not going to happen on this camera. This camera is old and outdated and a dinosaur. But Canon, again, if you're listening, please put that feature on a mirrorless version of this camera, or your what I assume is going to be the RX, the high-speed pro camera that you guys are supposedly developing, which I can't afford because that's probably going to be a $6,000 camera. So the light is starting to come back out now, so I'm gonna get out of wildlife mode right now, go back into landscape mode. Because one of those shots I captured earlier, it's much better now. We've got some light on these trees, so I'm gonna shut up now real quick and get this shot. Well, let me tell you guys, it's amazing what a little evening light can do to make an image just that much better. I still don't think we're gonna get a like colorful sunset tonight, but again, I was just proven wrong about our lighting situations today. The sun must have come out from a break in these big, bold. In fact, I can see the break right there. It must have come out from behind these clouds. So that makes just such a world of difference. You know what, guys? Today has been a pretty darn good day. I think we've come out with quite a few photos today that I think have been really, really good. We're having some fun with these ducks as well. I'm not going to get a shot of them diving into the water like I want. But you know what? That's not what's important. What's important is I am out here enjoying myself. I mean, what more could you ask for than to be out in a gorgeous location? Admittedly, we could not use the road right there, but hey, that's okay. We're still in a gorgeous spot. Gorgeous scene right here. And honestly, guys, I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry this video is getting kind of long. We're just covering a lot of stuff today. But that's kind of how we roll. That's kind of how I roll with the videos these days. If I'm shooting a relatively short video, then, I don't know if I'm enjoying myself so much. Alright guys, well, the sun is starting to dip. We're starting to lose the light. It's still got some light out in the distance here, but it's getting cold and it's getting windy. Two things that I personally don't really care for. But honestly, I would call today a massive success. We got lots of exploring in of these, get out of here before the bugs get too thick, but we had a massive success today exploring some of these aspen groves. I can't wait for this area to be full on just golden color. Like I said, probably in another week or 2 weeks. We had really great luck. I think I got a portfolio piece actually tonight of the light hitting these trees out in the distance here behind this pond, and that one specific grove of what are either aspen or birch. I'm pretty sure they're aspen. That's a gorgeous shot right there. We had a lot of fun shooting these ducks, even though I wasn't able to get a shot of them perfectly diving in the water. I did manage to get that on video, so maybe I'll pull a still frame from some of my video today. Seeing that muskrat was really cool. I think the only thing that could have been even better was if we'd seen a moose, but you know what? You really can't complain too much when you're out having a great day of photography. Really quickly, I just want to mention again that my 2020 calendar is available for purchase, so make sure you head over to my website. I'll have a link in the description below where you guys can go to order it. Please, I put a lot of time and effort into compiling this calendar, so it would really mean a lot to me if you guys were to purchase one. It would help me out a lot. Maybe gives, I don't want to sound sappy here, but it would give some validation to why I keep going out and doing photography. I love doing it. It's part of what keeps me going, but it would really be great if something that I worked really hard on, you know, was appreciated by other people. So sorry for that shameless plug right there, but I thought I'd throw it out there again. And make sure you stay tuned, guys. We will be coming back out here, I'm sure, in the next couple weeks to explore this area. But before that, I've got another big kind of overnight trip planned, and I really hope that you guys will enjoy that. It's more of a, you could say it's a wildlife trip. I don't want to give away anything because I want you guys to watch the video, but it's going to be more of a wildlife trip than a landscape trip. I'm heading up to Sandwash Basin. Any of you Colorado people, you will know what I'm talking about. So make sure you stay tuned for that, guys. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're not already, make sure you're liked, make sure you're subscribed. I promise I'm wrapping this video up. Make sure you hit that notification bell to know when I upload my next videos. And until then, from the high country in Colorado, from a gorgeous location to end our day, I hope you all have a good adventure of your own, and I will see you out on the trail.